Hello there, YouTube. Welcome back to Too Many Memes and Not Enough Brain Cells. It's Bruised. It's been a while since I've been back making a build guide, all that kind of stuff. I was gone for a while. I've been streaming for a bit. I've been back for a while and streaming and all that kind of good stuff. But it's been a while since I've made an actual guide. So today I wanted to talk about. This is kind of a guide, kind of a, I guess, a warning. I would say more so than anything as well. But this is so we have we're level 82 Titan, my little Thorn champ here. We are level 82 Titan. This is a Thorn's Quarterstaff wind skills mostly build that I have going on here that I have just decided to make as a total meme. The whole point of this video is just kind of going to be talking about this build a little bit. I'll go into a map in a second here. So we'll do a bit of a map, and I'll talk about what this character has done. We'll go over the build, kind of what you're supposed to be looking for on the tree, how the tree's set up, like here, yada yada. So we'll go all over that good stuff. And then at the end, for a little bit, I'll kind of give my thoughts overall on the state of Path of Exile 2 as it is right now. But I wanted to just kind of showcase this anyway. I was like, you know what, I should do at least one build explanation this league at the very least, because I'm probably almost done with my time with Path of Exile 2 right now, and I'd like to play some other things. So with that, I want to give a couple very quick notes just to start this. Do I recommend this build? Not really, I'll be honest. The most unfortunate thing is that you actually lose out on a slot by running Quarterstaves. You don't have any kind of shield slot or anything like that, and obviously Thorns isn't something that can roll on Quarterstaves. So you're in this weird state. You're missing out on an entire slot worth of physical Thorns, which does make a really big difference. So ultimately, I would say it's a total meme. Wind skills are super not good, even with the small buffs that they got this league. Wind skills are super not good. And I would say you would be far and away better by just running spear skills. Run spear skills with the bleed and and if you still want to do Thorns, do some Thorn stuff with the spear skills at the same time there, and I think you'll be in a much better spot overall. The other thing is this the strongest character or anything like that? No, not really, but it has surprised me overall. This has done a couple of tier 1 bosses. I've done I can't even remember. I've done the Wildwood boss, and I want to say I've done one of the expedition guys as well. So it's been okay as far as builds go thus far. It's not the fastest build, but it has surprisingly worked so far. So we'll kind of we'll go into it. We'll go into a map right now. I wanted to just run just a generic map with a boss, so we're just gonna run this one over here. If you'll notice as well, and what I'll also do as a quick note, is this map going to be a tier 16? No, this is not a very high tier map. I think this was 12. So as you can see, I don't have any of these, and if you're wondering why, the reason is because I usually try to showcase builds on like T16s and a little bit further into a character. But as Path of Exile 2 is right now, I have a lot of fun playing the game, but mapping is still a little bit boring to me, quite honestly. There isn't enough content per map to really kind of keep me interested and keep me going. So I usually get a character to about this point, maybe a couple levels more on average, and then I kind of get bored of mapping, and I usually switch to another character, which has been what's happened this league. And that's more or less what's happened right now.
Of places like this.
So that's why I just kind of wanted to do a recording now, before I get too overly bored and move on, and I just want to make a video. So our overall play style is you're mostly setting up a lot with we're mostly setting up with Wind Blast here, which is probably the best wind skill, honestly. Wind Blast is probably the best skill. And then for any further clear after that, we have Vaulting Impact, which is that guy. And we have our... Oh, I'm gonna die. We have our Spinny Staff. Whirling Assault is that one. And the blasts that you're seeing there are coming from Staggering Palm. You have to successfully heavy stun with Staggering Palm in order to get the Wind Blast effects going off. But if you do, it's a little bit, it's decent, you know, it helps with clear. And the other two abilities we have is we have Seismic Cry, specifically just for triggering consumption of broken armor. so that we can get more of our stacks. And the other thing is we have, what is this called? Blood Hunt. So that we can kind of consume the bleeds that we have on target to deal another really big chunk of damage to finish. Again, overall, you'd want to just play spear skills and just go spear, and really just go spear Thorns and Bleed that way, and it would be much more solid. But we're not. We're memeing. We're memeing. Also, another thing with Vaulting Impact, the way Vaulting Impact works is you deal more damage if the target is dazed, and every single hit of Wind Blast dazes the target. So you want to just kind of walk around, daze everybody with that, and then Vaulting Impact on top of them afterwards if you're going to use that. Otherwise, on average, you'll usually want to start off your combat by heavy stunning with Staggering Palm. So you'll Staggering Palm something, get your wind effects, and then do like Whirling Assault. And that's your really big clear right there. I do not have a Bleed Charm still, and boy, would I heavily benefit from a Bleed Charm, especially on this map. I think this map is a monsters have increased chance to bleed me, so I'm going to suffer for it. But yeah, that has been the... Sweet. That's the overall just kind of game plan of the character. I mean, just even this generic first area that I'm running around here, what you see is what you get, honestly. Is there something, like, stuck on the tree? Where is this, like, Are you good? It's just blending in with the grass. It's like actually finding a snake right there. Alright. It's also been weird to me that, like, as memey as this character is, that this has probably been my best character for the league so far. Ow. I say that as I'm about to die horribly. This has probably been my best character for the league, and he's really not that good. Truly would be better as just regular Thorns and everything, but there's a lot of Thorns support as well these days, not just in unique items, but actually in the sense of in the sense of support gems and even auras as well. Honestly, I did not realize that certain things had been added to the game, because I didn't really play a ton last league, and I guess I didn't pay attention enough to what showed up Thorn-wise this league, so I wasn't really... just wasn't on my radar. But it's been kind of surprising the amount of... It's been kind of surprising the amount of things that actually work and that are in the game for Thorns from a support perspective. Look at that. Also, as of right now, I am running absolutely 0 crit. My weapon actually has 0 crit on it. Oops. There is literally no crit that is on this weapon. You probably could go crit, and that would be also reasonable. It always is. You can actually get Thorn crit. So if you had more like global crit on top of that, it'd be pretty reasonable. I think. Oh, that's right. There's a boss on this map. Yeah, so we're gonna try. Basically, with the boss, we'll try to just set up. We'll try to set up a decent bleed stack on him, and then just consume it with Blood Hunt, and hopefully do a bunch of damage. And that's kind of the game plan. Sort of like that. Oh, really? It's the hyena boss on this one, too? I just realized. Hyena Lord. Alright, where is... Maps are so big. Maps are still so big, man. Oh, there's a, one of those things, too. Okay, cool. Ready, then? Let's check out the Rune Monolith, too. To who we get. It's another boss target to look at. So, that'll work. Who do we got? Oh, there, and there it is. That is, too. What are we looking at? Oh. if possible, it actually kind of becomes really annoying to set up your, it can become really annoying to set up your Staggering Palm on boss targets. That was a good bleed. It can become really annoying to set up your Staggering Palm on boss targets, so really don't worry about it unless you have a good opening for it right there, because I've found it to just be incredibly inconsistent when that's going to actually work. So that's why, like, for mapping, Staggering Palm's pretty good, and outside of that, it's not. It is just proven to piss me off whenever I get into any kind of boss encounter environment, and then the palm just does not do anything. Hi, guys. Oh, he actually got stunned by my caltrops right there. That's super funny. Okay, let's do that. And then spawn on him. We want to get our stacks of scavenging back up. He's almost dead. And then we just do that. And that's roughly how bossing goes. So it's not bad. Like, if I'm being completely honest with you, it's not the worst thing I've ever done. It's just also not the best. And there is a ton of memery that goes into this setup, into this build. And also, at the point I'm at right now, I can feel it already. We've more or less begun to plateau on what the damage and what the capabilities are with this character further on. But I'll go into all that right now, actually. We can kind of just immediately jump into the character, what we're going to look at with the ascendancy, leveling, all that kind of good stuff. So we'll hop right into the tree. So I actually, until recently, was running surprising strength alongside hits or crushing blows. But I recently decided to swap that for hulking form, and I do think that overall hulking form is just better. Hulking form is a really, really good passive. While you're leveling, though, I would highly recommend for your first point probably to just take Earthbreaker or Crushing Impacts. Either one of these, because when you're early on leveling, you can be using just Vaulting Impact and just vaulting Impact around, and using that to set up with like Wind Blast, Vaulting Impact, and you get a decent chance to cause Aftershocks, which is pretty good. So I would overall say that's a pretty good little bonus to do. So I would say for first lab, maybe just do Earthbreaker, but Earthbreaker, Crushing Impacts, whatever you wanted. Second one is where I would respec and go into hulking form, and then third lab, Crushing Impacts. Fourth lab would be Surprising Strength. We go back to it because, again, we're getting Crushing Blows. Things heavy stagger very often, very frequently. That's actually kind of one of our ways of survivability for this build, is by just heavy stunning everything in like one, maybe two, even just Wind Blasts. Things are heavy stunned. I can move on from there. Leveling wise, I just moved all my points up top to just kind of try to race over here for the for Revenge over here. To get some of the Thorn stuff rolling. We got some Rage going there, Battle Fever, Breakage, all this kind of stuff. And early on when you're leveling as well, I would also say use Thornhide. Thornhide is quite good. It's up to you. If you wanted to stick crit, you absolutely can, and you would instead use Briar Patch here. And you just use Briar Patch full time instead of switching to Beetle Bite like I did. So that would kind of be the big determining change there. And also you should run while you're leveling Dreadfist. This is also just another pretty good little item there for quite some time. And the final thing that really the enabler for Thorns in general is Crown of the Pale King, of course, because that lets us retaliate against all hits, which is just going to be something that improves us a lot. If you can find one that's better with Corruption on it, then awesome, go with that route. But otherwise, you could take the crit if you wanted to, and then build some global crit and stick with Thorn crit if you want to. But for the version that I'm doing, I am just stacking as much Thorns as I can, Fizz damage, armor break, all that kind of stuff instead. But I'll go over items in a little while. So yeah, we have over here, we are taking some armor, armor applying to elemental damage. It's helpful. Even if it's not the greatest thing in the game, it's still at least something. So we are rocking some of that. We go over here and take Revenge, and then we want to get a really big equipped body armor, just so that we get a ton of Thorns that way. So go over here for Revenge. I don't have any block, But again, if you were to do if you were to do spear instead, or if you got one of the quarterstaves that has implicit block chance instead, then you can absolutely take retaliation. I just don't have any block, so we're not taking that. Afterwards, I took a couple things. Behemoth here isn't terrific. I actually could very reasonably drop these 3 points. I was mostly using this because I thought I was going to use Vaulting Impact a lot more with this build, but I'm really not going to be using Vaulting Impact, so I'll probably end up respeccing these points at some point, but the extra life in him, and still the AoE is fine. Also, we do get a guaranteed Aftershock if we hit enough power with Seismic Cry, so that's kind of a good benefit in of its own anyway. Spiked Armor here. If you come up this side before you get to Hulking Form, this will give you a 100% chance to ignore armor. I now over that, and I'd probably instead go over to the Thorn's damage and remove these guys. We do also break armor like crazy, so realistically, we should be going up the right side, and I'll make that adjustment. But we have that. You go over here for Pylon. I do also think taking Punctured Lung is really good. That's actually kind of the next few levels that I will and would throw into this character is into Pylon, or into Punctured Lung here. It's just really good quality of life. There are so many enemies that regenerate life, or the rare monsters regen life, or anything like that. It can be absolutely obnoxious. I actually have needed a lot of strength. As you see, we have a lot of red gems that we are using. Most of the Thorn gems, most of the Fizz gems are red gems, so you're actually going to need quite a bit of strength still. That's kind of one of the annoying things with this particular setup of the build, is you still need a lot of strength, but since we're using quarterstaves, we need some hit. And since we're using quarterstaves again, or even if we were using spears, we would still need a lot. We would then need a lot of dex. So you kind of have to build all 3 stats. But if you were going just spear, you would mostly just build strength dex, and that would be the end of it. But I have some strength here. I got beef. We got beef. So we have beef here. More things. Actually, empowered attacks is actually kind of nice, even for... We have some other empowered attack setup stuff on our Quarterstaff. We get some empowered attack stuff on our Vaulting Impact. You could set it up on your Whirling Assault if you wanted to as well. So you can actually get a lot of value out of that. And then otherwise, just kind of standard stuff. Going over here for some of the bleed nodes, we're taking Bloodletting here. Vengeance here for the Thorn Leech's life. We have some Blurred Motion action. And over here for Aggravation, just to aggravate bleeding and give us more magnitude of bleeding that we inflict as well. All decent things for us. We have Singular Purpose here, just because big increased attack damage is good. That's the same thing with Crushing Verdict here. This reduces our attack speed again, but gives us even more attack damage. So all good things for us. That's kind of really just how we're building this character out. And like I said, so for further levels with this character, it'll probably be take Punctured Lung. And then from there, I would kind of make a consideration if you want to use maybe something along the lines of like maybe Honorless over here. They are immobilized a lot. Or actually maybe even the stun buildup thing here. I don't know. That, or you come over here for Guided Hand for some of the ancestrally boosted attacks, because you can use ancestral boosting quite a lot. Or you just, or you just take some more bleeding stuff. You know, you take Deep Wounds here. You could grab some more of the either the bleeding on hit or whatever else you want to take. There's some more armor nodes that you could take if you want to. You know, armor applying against lightning damage. Stun damage with hits is lucky against heavy stunned enemies. Heavy stunning is very, very frequent for us. A perfect opportunity here is also something that would be really good. I want to say there was another... Cruel Methods over here. Breaking more armor. Gaining increased fizz damage. Can't go wrong with that. So just kind of anything on the tree that gives you more armor, or some more bleed stuff, or some more fizz, or heavy stun leaning into that. Or if you want to go with some Warcry stuff, you could take, Warcries empower an additional attack, or Warcries have minimum 10 power, which is also nice. I'm also taking Tribal Fury over here next to Revenge, because that does mean that every hit with Whirling Assault actually has a bit more of an AoE to it, and makes it a little bit better for clearing. And when we Quarterstaff strike, that also helps with clear in that regard. So that's the tree. That's what I would do with it. That's what I've done with it, honestly, for this build. And yeah, you go from there. I think if you were to go spear stuff, though, I do think maybe making your way over towards the actual spear side of the tree would be quite nice. Precision is also good, so you could take 1,000 Cuts and Inevitable Rupture, but that would be I think that would be if you leaned heavier into the bleed rather than leaning into Thorn's package as well. It would kind of leave you in an awkward space. So I'd say if you wanted to do Thorn, if you want to do Spear and just pure bleed, come over to the side of the tree. It's gonna be worth it. If you're doing the weird bleed Thorn package, then you can maybe you'd probably still want to revamp the tree a little bit, make traveling a little bit better for yourself, and maybe cut some of these like top nodes out, and maybe just come up here through the bottom for revenge or something. That would be reasonable, and then still make your way over here for maybe even some of the hazard stuff too, because we do put down hazards quite a lot. But with that, we'll go into the let's go over the skills first, and then I'll go over gear after that. So skills, believe it or not, again, let me pull out a skill gem right now while I'm thinking about it. So as of right now, we're using Quarterstaff Strike pretty regularly. Quarterstaff Strike, quite good for a pure fizz setup. So we have Heft, Rapid Attacks, Barbs 3, and Ancestral Call 2. Ancestral Boosting counts as being empowered as well. Barbs 3 is actually really cool. This is what I was talking about with the supports that they have added, which is really cool. So supported skills deal your Thorns damage twice on their next hit after you retaliate with Thorns. So anything hits you, you'll see Barbs actually pops up here as a buff. And when you hit an enemy, it'll do a really big chunk because it's 2 times your Thorns damage applied alongside the actual hit of the strike. So you actually get a really good chunk of damage going from that. Next up, we're using Vaulting Impact, of course. So we have Fist of War 3 here. And as you see, it's more than once every 14 seconds, but we really don't use it too terribly often. And the Fist of War that it looks like is those green spikes right there. That's what you get. But Fist of War, pretty good, and we don't tap Vaulting Impact that often, or we don't need to. So it's kind of just like a bigger damage setup. You stagger, you daze him with Wind Blast, and then you Vaulting Impact on top of that. Brutality 3, just for the more fizz damage. You could also put in Heft here, or you could put in oh, there's another one, but I'm forgetting the name of it. Bramble Slam though was another one. This is kind of the first of the hazards that we get to put down onto the ground. And the other thing is Close Combat. You can also put Bleeding 4 here if you want to. We'll talk about Bleeding 4 a bit later, but you kind of having the chance to bleed on Vaulting Impact is still pretty decent. So Close Combat 2, you're always moving yourself closer to slam them, so pretty good. And then Bramble Slam here, the kind of cool thing is that this creates some brambles on the ground, which I'll try to look at them. But increases and reductions to Thorns damage apply to hit damage with the skill. So every time we do our slam here, you'll see little bramble guys here. My face is hiding it or anything. No, these little bramble guys here. And if enemies walk over them, they deal your Thorns damage to them, which can just kind of be a nice little setup additionally to have as you're running around. So it's just like it says, it's a hazard that you throw down. We do also use Trail of Caltrops. That was something that I specifically found a little bit later. Which also puts down some Caltrops when you dodge, which deal your Thorns damage. We have some levels to it, put Bleed in there just to guarantee it, and Nova Projectiles just to put more of them out on the ground. But as you see, so we dodge roll, and we set out these little Caltrops, and enemies that run over them will then take your Thorns damage, and they'll start bleeding. And so it's a very, very solid setup for those kinds of things. But that's jumping ahead a little bit. Next up is Staggering Palm, which, like I was saying, is you fisting there. This is what I recommend as your start of combat type deal. Find like a normal mob to Staggering Palm onto. It gives you those like wind projectiles that you saw coming out of the attacks and out of the staves while we were spinning around with Whirling Assault or whatever else. So we have Prolonged Duration, just make it last longer. We have some Leech, and then Nova Projectiles, just make them shoot all in a ring around us as well. It's kind of just there as a little bit of bonus damage. And like I said, since all of our hits are crushing blows thanks to our thing, it can be really inconsistent, and it can honestly, a lot of the time, you'll see the white marker over an enemy, like you can stun them, and then you stun them with the palm, and you don't get the buff, because they are already heavily stunned, and the game just kind of switches out a little bit. So Staggering Palm, unfortunately, can be really frustrating to use while all of your hits are crushing blows, but I think this is kind of the nature of the thing. Wind Blast here, like I was saying, is probably our best. This is your main damage dealer. This is our main purpose, our main go-to skill. We're using it with Rapid Attacks. We have Armor Break 3, which can give us an endurance charge, but mostly we just want it, of course, for the armor breaking. Brutality, because or Fizz for armor break, and then Bleed. We're just setting up our 100% chance to bleed with this every time. Whirling Assault here is our Spinny Boy move. It exists. It's unfortunately, I feel like it's unfortunately pretty decent, but it's mostly decent because you can put Barbs 2 on this. Barbs 3 empowers only the next hit, whereas Barbs 2 empowers your it gives your skill your Thorns damage just once. It's only once for your Thorns damage, but it's the next 6 hits after you retaliate. So you'll see you have a counter. You'll have a counter for 1, and you'll have a counter for 6. I did test with Barb's 3 just to see if it counts as the instance of the move or if it is every attack, and it is in fact every hit. So you'll see like when the counter goes as you're hitting every single hit with Whirling Assault, you'll start to see take one off the counter and so on and so forth. So if you have Barb's 3, only the first hit will deal a bunch of damage, and then after that you'll go back to just basically hitting him with a pool noodle. So Barb's 2 is very good for that. Actually enhances most of your Whirling Assault to deal pretty good damage. And then you tag that with the Staggering Palm projectiles, and it's kind of decent. F tier, heavy swing here just for more fizz and brutality. We're just trying to lean into damage as much as we can with that. Seismic Cry is here. Tireless, Batter Shout, and Bleed. Actually, this could be Bleed 3, but regardless. Seismic Cry is mostly here for the sake of empowering our Vaulting Impact to give it a guaranteed aftershock if we get enough power. Or the other thing that it's used for is Batter Shout here, which will consume broken armor. It'll consume fully broken armor here, which then causes it to deal a little bit of damage and yada yada. So it'll deal a bit of damage to them, but the important thing is that you use this to reset break armor on an enemy. So if you're setting up with our Scavenge Plating here, and your Scavenge Plating is about to run out of stacks, you're against like a boss target, use Seismic Cry to consume that, and you'll probably get an empowered Vaulting Impact. But more importantly, then you can reapply your Armor Break with Wind Blast and get your Scavenge Plating stacked back up. Scavenge Plating is our very important, is the most important buff that we have realistically though. It gives us a ton of Thorns damage. It gives us a good chunk of armor as well. So we have Prolonged Duration, Thorn Skin 2, just to increase our Thorns damage by 70% while it's active. Another huge buff to our Thorns. And then just 1 the level, just because 1 the level is always going to be good on this. It's going to give us either more armor or more Thorns per stack. Obviously going to be super good. Herald of Blood is here just for clear, basically. You could probably throw in a few other things here. I just have a precision on it. And yeah, it's mostly just here. Chance to aggravate bleeding, and also it causes enemies who are bleeding to explode, which is quite nice. So just use for clear. Use this just for the sake of making things explode. Enemies you kill with blood loss. Enemies with blood loss you kill explode, which then can also aggravate. It causes the chain to go further beyond. Herald of Blood, a very nice addition for us. And then Blood Hunt, like I was saying, this is for our spear. This is our big finisher that we're using. Jab him with it. Barb's 3. What I will say is having 2 copies of Barb's 3 means that if you use Quarterstaff Strike and then try to Blood Hunt immediately afterwards, you will consume your stack of Barb's 3. It does not apply twice. Like, you won't have 2 stacks of Barb's 3. You will have 1 stack of it. So if you're going to set up for a big Blood Hunt hit, make sure that you have not Quarterstaff Strike. Just use Blood Hunt. It does work. It does apply. Even in your offhand, you'll still see that you'll get Barb's 3. I've done it before where I removed Barb's 3 from Quarterstaff Strike, and then I still saw Barb's 3 show up on there. So it does work in your offhand, and we do just use it just for furthering our damaging strike when we pull out Blood Hunt. But then we have Heft here. We have Bleed 4, like I was saying. So Bleed 4 just deals more melee fizz against bleeding enemies. That's when we want to be using Blood Hunt, is when they're bleeding. And then it gives them Incision, which is pretty nice, and they can inflict bleeding. Rigwald's Ferocity, I don't think is actually that good, but it does cause them to deal 30% more damage if used in Weapon Set 2. It's used in Weapon Set 2. I don't know, there's probably better options here, but I happened to drop it from a lineage thing, and I was like, that seems pretty decent for our setup, so let's do it. So here we are using Rigwald's Ferocity. There might be better options here, though, but it seems pretty decent. And then, like I was saying, Trail of Caltrops, last thing. Just here for bleed, just here to leave a trail of Caltrops behind. So that is our entire gem setup here. Like I was saying, the wind skills are unfortunately really just not good. Tempest Bell here exists, but I don't think it's really worth running Tempest Bell, honestly. I really just don't. It seems You have to build the combo to use it. When you do use it, kind of the big deal. I mean, it'll still deal okay damage, right? Like, Tempest Spell is still not necessarily bad, but you want to be hitting it fast. And the other thing is, enemies, when they heavy stun, tend to back up. So they'll probably back up out of the shockwave of the Tempest Spell anyway, and then you'll just be annoyed. And our fastest hitting attack is Whirling Assault, which is just not going to be very fun. And you still miss out on the extra damage and other stuff. 30 Fizz is extra for each elemental ailment. We aren't dueling elemental ailments, so Tempest Spell is just kind of lacking. And then that just leaves us with, we have all of 4 wind/physical skills. We have Staggering Palm, Wind Blast, Vaulting Impact, and Whirling Assault. And unfortunately, 2 of those, Vaulting Impact and Whirling Assault, are flat attack time increases, which is just terrible. I hate that these are flat attack time increases. They get so much worse. There is no combo that goes into this particular thing. The payoff ability that we have is Vaulting Impact versus dazed enemies, and even then, it's really not that crazy. Like, look, so attack damage is, and we also apply Broken Stance. It's not that good. Like, I'm gonna be real, Broken Stance is not that big of a thing. It's decent, but it's really not that good. And the attack damage increase goes from 368 to 428 versus dazed. It's really just not that good of a buff. And you'll also notice that when you're using Vaulting Impact, you have to be kind of precise where you're going, because so often when you put your stick down and leap, you'll go way over the target, which could just, maybe you totally whiff, and it gets really annoying because of that. Staggering Palm is also, like I was saying, you have to be able to heavy stun something. If they're not heavy stunned with it to get the buff out of it, it's essentially useless. And against unique targets that don't have ads, it can be extremely frustrating. Or you can just, maybe you Wind Blast like twice, and that is instantly enough to put them into heavy stun because it's super easy with Crushing Blows. So then you've missed out on Staggering Palm value. Goes back and forth. Wind Blast is decent. It's fine. It's not the best thing in the world, but it's fine. And then Whirling Assault here is also just terrible, plus 1.4 seconds total attack time. It's terrible. It feels really bad. Tempest Flurry is so much better for what it does. It has a 140% attack speed base, whereas Whirling Assault just has, you attack for 1.4 seconds at a minimum. It's really bad. And there just really isn't anything else. So unfortunately, the Fizz skills to me, they're really still really lacking in support with like other skills, and they're really just lacking overall. But memes. So here we are. What I would say also, something else is kind of weird, is positioning gets really weird in the game with these skills. Sometimes you'll be Whirling Assault. You'll be using Whirling Assault, and you'll be pushing up against an enemy, and the server still seems to think that you have continued to move like you have phasing. So when you finish your attack on top of this one enemy, all of a sudden you'll teleport over to where you were as if the attack had continued, and then you'll just, all of a sudden the camera will just snap up to where you would have been if you had phasing and kept moving through that target. So Whirling Assault is a really weird one. Staggering Palm, the same thing happens sometimes when you teleport over to an enemy and there's like a gap there, then sometimes the server doesn't know quite how to get you there or what to do, so you just wind up snapping all over the place. It can be really awkward using these skills. It can feel really just kind of like strange with like not actually knowing where you are during any kind of combat or in any one given moment. But that's the game we play. So hopefully they add some more, hopefully they give some more buffs. Hopefully they give some better wind options or better like physical options or something, because just having 4 of them and these guys being what they are is just not nearly as worth it for the element versus the elemental package. The elemental package is so much better. But I would potentially maybe do a Falling Thunder Titan build in the future, so maybe look out for that. Anyway, we'll roll into gear with that. I just wanted to go over the skill gems and why we're using them and just kind of talk more through the skill gems a little bit there. So we'll go over items now. We're just looking for the biggest physical stick that we possibly can get. If you want to roll crit, go crit. But instead, I have 0% crit on this thing, as you can see here. I think this is a new base type that they added. It has no crit, but it has really big fizz ranges that it can hit. The furthering of this build, if I were to really push this character further, a big way to do that would just be to get a better stick. And unfortunately, a lot of the really better sticks at this point would start to cost like 10 plus divines, I think, and I am not rich enough for that. So try to get some kind of fizz leech on there, and then just try to get as much fizz damage as possible on here. Also, attack speed is never going to do you wrong, so do something with that as well if you can. and you would just try to get one that pushes into like the 1,000 plus PDPS range if you can. Ring-wise, we have Prized Pain here. I got one. This one is corrupted. I think this is new from last league. I got one that is corrupted with all res on it, just to kind of further help that situation out. And we gain some additional Fizz damage, Fizz Thorn damage, and we deal our Thorn damage when we stun with melee attacks, which is at least nice for Whirling Assault. If we're whirling around in a big group of enemies, well, then we'll be dealing our Thorns damage to them as well, which is pretty good. Like I said, Crown of the Pale King, this is our most important item. This allows us to retaliate against all hits, so any spells, any ranged attacks, anything like that, anything that hits us, we're going to retaliate against it with Thorns, which is very nice. And then we have our just otherwise. Also try to get some Fizz attack leech as mana. These things are expensive. There's no way that these should cost like 100 plus mana. That's just ridiculous for these skills. But regardless, make sure you get some mana leech because you'll need it, whether it be on gloves or on the staff, and then you get Fizz leech elsewhere, whatever else. But otherwise, life, Fizz damage to attacks, some resistances, get some leech, could be golden. I got some more spirit on my amulet just so that we can actually be running all of our auras that we want to be running, alongside the buffs that go with them. Life, increased armor, dexterity, resistance, whatever you need right here. And then also Stupefy. We have Anointed, which Stupefy is chance to daze on hit. We daze every hit anyway, but 40% increased damage against dazed enemies. Pretty good. It's overall a pretty cheap Anoint as well, so recommend going with that. Beetle Bite here for the 100% increased Thorns damage. You could probably get a Corrupted pair then that increases that to like 112, 120-ish% increased Thorns damage, which then that's buffs. So do with that what you please, and keep going from there. Like I said, our body armor, we just want the highest armor that we possibly can, alongside tier 1 physical Thorn damage as well on top of that. But, you know, get whatever else you can in there. Get some regen, get some resistances, get some stats if you need them. Just get whatever you can, and then just try to get as much armor as you possibly can out of this. Belt-wise, again, same thing, life, resistances, Fizz Thorn damage, and some armor wherever you can. So that's just kind of it. Gloves, more or less same thing. You just run, what were these things? Dreadfist? Yeah, you just run Dreadfist pretty late into the game, and then eventually just swap out into something like this, or ideally with a higher Fizz damage to attack rolls than we have here, but just something along these lines. Some armor, resistances, life, bada bing, bada boom, you're good. And I think that's just about everything that I had for the character himself, like I said, and then in our background here, just get a shield that has tier 1 Fizz Thorns, and just get yourself a really big spear, just for the sake of running Blood Hunt, and then we should be good, and you can just kind of dodge roll around, and you'll leave even more. But yeah, as you can see, the reason why I say if you want to do the Thorns package stuff, probably just run with the spear. So look at this, we have 22 to 31. Now we have 29 to 4,000 with our crest shield on. So the damage increase is very noticeable from a Thorns perspective. So that's why I say, if you really felt like doing some kind of Thorn bleed thing, just go to spear skills. It'll feel so much better. But I still don't want to dissuade anybody. The build did work. It has worked. I have, I'll actually do it at the end of this here video. I should be able to attach my, I'll be able to attach my clip. I'll just attach a quick clip of me when I actually killed King in the Mist, because I did stream that, and it was, I did die a few times, but overall it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that good, but it wasn't that bad. I do think that was before I made the swap to Hulking Form as well, so I had Surprising Strength instead. So it maybe go a little bit smoother now, but that's what I had for the time being. So I'll put that at the end. One quick thing as well, I will have the POB linked below. That's the other note I forgot to include at the start. I'll have the POB linked below if you want to take a look at the character. The POB, I want to say that Thorns is not a thing. I don't think it exists right now. So in POB, the damage numbers, I'll be honest, it's not like they're going to be anything super crazy and wild anyway. But the damage numbers are going to look really bad, especially because Thorns doesn't exist in POB. So a lot of the Thorn benefits and a lot of the things that we're getting out of having a lot of Thorns really doesn't show up on there. But I will have it down below just in case you want to take a look at it regardless. As for right now, as for my own thoughts on Path of Exile 2 as of the third Edict overall, I think the game is a lot of fun. The game is quite good. There's always some rough stuff at the start, so I know a lot of people were unhappy about how Abyss's launch as far as some of the Abyssal modifiers. I know that some people were unhappy with Remnants on the Sorceress side, just as far as like the overall damage and the feel of them. So I know that there's been some stuff. They've worked to make it better at this point in the season, and this point in the game. It feels pretty fun. Excuse me, I'm having a great time. Just even doing random meme stuff. Like the capabilities are there. If I really had to choose some things that I would say that I was not a fan of, it's still mana cost of skills. They still feel ridiculously expensive. You know, like I said, 172 mana, 157, even 106 for Seismic Cry here. Like, there's no reason these should cost what they cost for what they do. And it's kind of ridiculous, honestly. And so I really think mana cost should be adjusted again. I don't like the direction that mana has gone from a cost perspective. I know that they reduced mana as far as like mana costs go this league. They still feel crazy. They still feel out of control. And the other thing is how many ground effects, especially rare monsters, especially Abyss rare monsters have. It is ridiculous the amount of ground effects that are out there. I like literally can't see what's happening so often because the ground is just littered in effects and it's just impossible to tell what's happening. God forbid you run a map that has any kind of like ignited ground, chilled ground. You're getting cursed every now and again. And you'll have like the Abyss that shows up, and that's like, and some of those like monsters have ground effects and they block the ground. It is jarring how many things that there are. So I really hope that they tone that down, that they really take a look at that, because that feels really ridiculous. If I'm going to be honest, I do not like the state of ground effects and how much damage they do too, and the like potency of those effects. I think is very ridiculous. Same with on-death effects. There are too many of them. It's like every time I kill something, I have to dodge roll out of the way because I don't want to get hit by any number of on-death effects that exist, and it feels bad. So that's kind of my biggest gripe with the game right now. Those are kind of my biggest gripes with the game. But the Act 4, the story with Act 4, the interlude acts, all that kind of good stuff were really good, really fun. Abyss as a whole, I think is still really good. I like Abyss. I like the Abyss from an idea perspective, and I actually would love to see it show up in Path 1, maybe just in like some slightly different tweaks here and there, like a slightly different crafting reward. But I do really like how Abyss is in the game as is. And yeah, like I said, the Act 4, the interludes are all really, really good. I'm very excited to see what they do with Acts 5 and 6. And my overall thoughts on the endgame right now is that endgame is better. I like mapping at least a little bit more than I did like last league, honestly. There's still some stuff that's kind of a miss. I still don't care about spirits at all. Anytime I see a spirit, I kind of roll my eyes. And most of the time, I've started just running past him. I used to run him pretty much every time I came across him. Now I just sort of roll my eyes, and I just sort of roll my eyes, and I don't usually interact with them. The corrupted stuff and the cleansed stuff from last league, I still think are really good. I actually like it. The new unique maps are good. The maps showing up less frequently feels nice. Like there feels like there's more variety in every map, at the very least, variety to map layouts, which I like. I'm a fan of that. I just really think that mapping as of right now is still a little bland. Like there aren't enough mechanics as it stands right now. Like if I were to do one of these maps, like there's a breach there and there's Abyss there. Otherwise, kill the rares and that's it. It's a very bland kind of thing, and especially when you're first starting out mapping, you need to kind of do like some of your towers. But it's like if you come across a point where you have like this, where it's like if I want to progress over this way or something. If it's just a regular map like this, there's just nothing in it. You run it, there's an Abyss, you kill the rares, you leave. And I'm not ultra crazy about that, but I think that's something that will be fixed with with time, I think there will be some more mechanics that they add to the game, and things will start to feel at least a little bit better. But like I said, we're making small improvements. Overall, do I think that the game was in a better state than it was last patch? Yes. Am I still excited for the future? Absolutely. So I'm stoked to see what they continue to do. I think I've just kind of hit my cap this season, but I will of course always be back to play more of it. I might still play a little bit more. I had an idea for a build, but I'm already not sure how it's going to shake up. So we'll see. We'll see what I continue to do there. But otherwise, in the meantime, I had a great time this league. I still ran 3 characters to endgame, and did some more fun stuff. Like I said, this character killed a couple bosses, and has done a few other things, even as just a total meme that he is. So I think that to me is like, that's like we're healing, you know? We're starting to move in the right direction, because if I can run a meme like that and it be even relatively successful, then, you know, that to me says that the build diversity is starting to get there. So we'll see. I really hope that the next patch adds some more skills, or another weapon type or another class or something, because that's sort of really what I feel like I'm itching for and I'm missing at this point. I've had enough of where we are right now, and I'd love to just see some more of the new stuff that they add. But either way, we'll see. And in a few months, I think we have another Path 1 season. I want to say at the end of October, so I'll probably be dicking around in some other games in the meantime. But YouTube, that's kind of all that I have. I think I still really like the game. I just think that there are some things that still need improvement, and that's fine. We are still really early, and I continue to be very excited. I hope you enjoyed, YouTube. Hope you enjoyed just this quick little glance at a meme that I threw together, and I hope that you know to maybe not do it. But if you do, it's relatively successful. So, YouTube, I hope you enjoy. I will see you all next time. Until then, stay sane out there, Exiles, and enjoy this clip of me when I actually killed King of the Mists. Bye now. I don't know that I'm really gonna bother. Like, I can keep going. Obviously, it doesn't really matter. But he's just kind of an annoying fight, and I can just buy these again. And or I should say, I just don't do enough damage realistically to like. Yeah. Ow.
Nothingness approaches.
Got it that time. That should be phase 2. I'm better this time.
A cowardly trick.
A cowardly
Won't
trick.
save you.
It might. Still might. Adori Ligma as well, dude. Got you. Picking up what you're putting down.
The Wild One's power is mine. You are seen. Gate of nothingness.
Oops. Not mean to do that.
You're seen.
Need to do that just to get my stacks back.
You're seen.
I'm seen, bro. Stop seeing me.
Oblivion awaits.
Alright, here, actually sprinted there, that was almost tragic. Oh, it's gotta go. Ooh, roll. I think I can do this. And there we go. Pretty slow, but pretty slow. Not terrific, but it's fine. Yeah, definitely like tier 1 of it anyway. I guess what level is it? I mean, it only says monster level 78, but like realistically, I should have been doing. If I was doing more damage, that would have been completely fine, but I was not.
Hello, Outlander. Like this will I know that's quite.